Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Welcome back to Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. Well, even though startup business Go Plugable is only set to go live in September, its founder Maebh Reynolds believes that it has the potential to become the Air BnB for EV charging. Maebh joins us now to share her ambitious plans for the business. Maebh, start by providing us with an insight into the woman behind the business.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I've recently graduated from my Master's in Mechanical Engineering from Queen's University Belfast, and I'm now pursuing building up my startup full-time, which is called Go Plugable, in collaboration with the team from DKIT in Dundalk, and I've really been enjoying the journey so far.
So what is Go Plugable, and where did the idea for the business come from?
Through Go Plugable, we're building, as you said, the Air BnB of electric vehicle home chargers. So if you picture this scenario where someone has bought an electric vehicle, but they don't have a private driveway, or they live in an apartment or rented home and therefore can't have home charging access, our community-driven mobile application will allow hosts in your community to rent out their home charger to you. So where it really came from was from my background being in mechanical engineering. I always had an interest in electric vehicles. And I always wondered why someone would not jump to the opportunity of owning one. And, you know, it's only when you look at the real experience of the many who own one currently, there exists a lot of what's called range anxiety. So the idea of, will I have enough charge, or will I be able to find a charger to get me from A to B in my daily journeys? So having identified this barrier and the gap in the market, we decided to build Go Plugable to make EV driving more accessible and more convenient, and to allow home charging access to anyone who will onboard our platform.
So what research did you complete to determine that a demand exists for a shared EV charging model?
Yes, so because this is a relatively new space, conducting consumer research has been one of our main focuses in building our business model. And we've been leveraging the Northern Ireland EV Association as well as the EV Owners Association in Ireland to really construct that feedback and to hear the thoughts and perceptions of current people that are driving EVs. So in one survey with 400 participants, we discovered that 34% currently don't have access to a home charger because they don't have a private parking area by their home. And this has also been one of the main barriers to people who haven't actually went to switch to an EV. Because of this massive inconvenience and the lack of public infrastructure. Within our surveys as well, we found that 51% of EV drivers have actually considered at one point in time or even switched to petrol or diesel cars again because of these barriers. And that for us was really shocking and really put into perspective some of the pains that are really out there and how much work is needed to be done to really make EV driving more accessible and convenient.
And from an international perspective, there are operators providing this service already in terms of the shared model of EV charging. So what have you learned from those existing operators, and what are you planning to do differently?
Yeah, so at the minute, our main competitor would be Co-Charger, which mostly operate in mainland UK. There are some 30-40 hosts in Northern Ireland also, but they have over 10,000 downloads. And as I said, this is a quite new space, so they've been operating for, I think, around 2 years now. We very much welcome the sense of competition, which seems strange, but because it is such a new market and a new kind of perspective on the EV charging experience, we think that any marketing towards that in any way we can advertise this new method of EV charging is beneficial for us also. How we're different is that we want to be the biggest charging network across the island of Ireland. So through our app, we want to have host the public charging stations also. So you'll be able to see, you know, charging stations at your local Spar, your local GA club and so on, and also host the domestic chargers so that we can become that one-stop shop for EV charging. Another thing that we've highlighted from our consumers, or from EV consumers that is this idea that charging electric vehicles, which was once a very beneficial point of switching, was the affordability of driving electric, has now kind of changed with the landscape it's now become more expensive to charge an electric vehicle. So we want to allow some cashback and rewards to our customers to really encourage them to onboard with our more community-driven app. We want to put the community first in that sense, give the hosts who have went out of their way to install a home charger to be able to access a passive revenue by renting out their home chargers, and allow those without home chargers to really schedule their charging habits with their daily life.
Now, the Go Plugable app is due to be launched shortly, but how exactly will the service work?
Yes, so similar to Air BnB, you will be able to put in your location or your home address, and from there you can look at our competitive pricing map, which shows the prices per kilowatt hour that each host has decided to price their home charger. So it is up to the host to define how much they want to price. So you will be able to book in with a host at a selected time and date, and also set up recurrent bookings. As we visit the user case of the person that uses our app, will make recurrent bookings with a neighbour that lives close to them in their community. With that, the host can also message you directly with any access information, and also let you know where you should park, etc. And we also want to have extensive user verification, just for the peace of mind that are using this marketplace, so that you know exactly who's pulling up to your door, and it really gives you that peace of mind to step into this community-driven platform. So we also want to have a user rating system so that you can gauge your experience with that host.
And Maeve, from a revenue point of view, how does Go Plugable get paid?
Yes, so through each transaction, Go Plugable takes 15%, as well as a 30-cent flat fee. So that will cover our payment processing end.
Now, last week, Brian Cook, the Director General of the SIMI, joined us on the programme, and he stated that up to 50% of all new cars bought in the first half of 2023 have a chargeable battery component. As this percentage will undoubtedly increase over the coming years, how do you plan to market Go Plugable to these users?
Yes, so at present, we have been marketing to these early adopters of the EV market, and these are usually people that are very, knowledgeable about the field, very excited about the field, and very enthusiastic about any innovations that pop up in the EV space. As you said, and in Northern Ireland, it's kind of a focus for us as well, because the government has pledged to ban the sale of petrol and diesel cars by the year 2030. Our marketing strategies will need to switch to allow the advertising to everyone on board to EV driving, because for me, I see it as a very inevitable thing that it will become, the only option for mobility, and very, very soon, and sooner than I think the market realises. So we will have to, switch up our strategies to allow that mass onboarding onto our app, and we're hoping to get some assistance with that through the Irish government and the Northern Irish government, as we really think that our strategy accommodates some of their sustainability goals and really makes these goals achievable.
And are you concerned at all that as the public EV charging infrastructure develops over the coming years, that the demand for this sharing model may diminish?
So at present, we don't really consider ourselves a competitor to the public EV share or EV charging market. At the minute, we're there to accommodate. So in areas where there won't be substantial public infrastructure, we're really there to be, a catch point for people who can't avail of those types of services. Of course, as more development and more work is done to install public chargers, which is already underway, we have some really ambitious and exciting plans to diversify our business model and use a B2B strategy. So if there are businesses and local businesses with private charge points, say, for example, for their employees, if you're a large manufacturing factory, through our booking app, you will be able to really schedule those bookings and allow that access to the public also, especially if a facility like this is close to your home. And this will really allow businesses to optimise the revenue that they have on their charging infrastructure.
And Maeve, what is the position regarding insurance whereby, let's say, an owner of an EV is using the charging point of a host of Go Plugable, and let's say somebody trips over the cable, whose insurance is covering that risk?
Yes, so in terms of insurance, it is a tricky field, and it's something that we have given a lot of thought to and a lot of focus, especially from the feedback that we've asked for current EV drivers and how they feel about our business model. In terms of, accidental damage or damage to a vehicle or damage to a person, like you described there, usually within this market, for example, with our competitor, CoCharger, the usual stance is to say that, look, we're just a marketplace and we host this relationship between you and the charger owner, and anything that occurs from then on is really between you guys. We recognise this as a barrier for people to onboard to those types of apps, taking that stance, because we really feel like the community needs a peace of mind to onboard to something that's quite a new technology. So we are looking at different innovative ways, for example, insurance brokerage deals that will allow perhaps a host to pay, say, €5 a month, and that will be able to cover them for any accidental damage that may occur on their property.
And Maebh, how have you funded the startup to date, and do you plan to seek external investment in the future?
Yes, absolutely. So we have been bootstrapped fully to date, so meaning that we have been relying on grants and competitions for the majority of our funding. We've raised around €60,000 to date, which has been absolutely fantastic, considering that we only really started this journey in February of this year. So we have won the Queen's Dragon's Den Award in the North. We're through the New Frontiers programme with DKIT, who have given us some funding throughout that programme. We got the High Achieving Merit Award with the Student Entrepreneur Awards. So we've been doing really well in that sense. But we are looking to plan seeking investment at the end of this year to really further develop our business and to allow some scalability, perhaps into the UK and beyond.
How has your participation in Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers programme assisted you in developing the business model?
Yes, it's been absolutely fantastic, because I'm not from a business background. I've always had the passion for it, and I guess I have that technical knowledge of the industry. So I think, I'm only 23, so I think having no sort of solid business expertise and background in that, it can be a very daunting space. But through the New Frontiers programme, it's really, a safe space to develop and accelerate your business progression through the expertise of their mentors that they have provided.
Maebh, finally, how long do you expect it to take for Go Plugable to develop a nationwide network of hosts? And secondly, how many hosts do you hope to attract?
So we are launching in September of this year. So by the end of September, that's the go for launch. We hope by the end of the year to have somewhere between 500 and 1,000 downloads. It will obviously take some time for the traction for the downloads to really communicate in terms of hosts and chargees using the app day to day, so that we hope within 1 year we can have at least 2,000 people that will use the app daily, and that's our ultimate goal.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Maebh Reynolds from Go Plugable, and I'm sure that this business will be an instant hit.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.